It's finished here at Roots Hall, Southend Utd 2, Altrincham 1, and with Phil Parkinson. Phil, what are your overall thoughts on the day today?
Obviously, we're always disappointed when we don't get a win. I thought the first half we were diabolical, and that's being generous. I can't tell you why that is. We're racking our brains in terms of preparations, been absolutely on point, but it seems to be when we're coming down south, something's not quite right. But then second half, the lads were outstanding, so really split on it because you could have gone under. I thought the way we were performing there, I've seen that type of performance before turn into 4 and 5, if I'm honest with you. So I was fearing the worst. We were talking about making 4 or 5 changes at half time, but we wanted to give them 5 or 10 minutes. And it was right to do that because then they settled and they got in the rhythm. But we've just got to be dealing with really basic things like long balls. And listen, there's no getting away from it. The changes at the back are good in terms of bringing Coops back in, who did brilliantly against York, and then Rob's done really well. But you're taking 2 big players out of your defence, and it's definitely had an effect on us. I don't think the lads coming in are doing anything wrong, but we're just not quite clicking. That's why we're conceding so many goals. So it's definitely not on the lads coming in, but as a unit, we're just not doing what we were doing before. And it will get better because the good players are coming in, and as you saw at York. But I think that little bit of inconsistency from a lack of continuity is definitely having an effect at the moment.
In terms of that first half performance, you've already said you're not quite sure why it is, but I'll have a go. It did remind me a little bit of the game a week ago. I don't know if you saw any similarities with that, where it just felt like we had 5 minutes where we were in it, and then once they got on top, it felt like we couldn't get ourselves going somehow.
I think it's a completely different game, but I understand the context of what you're saying. You're on about Rochdale. So with Rochdale, obviously more of a technical team, but they've got some decent athletes. Southend are very back to front with 2 big target men, and just give us a different challenge to come up against. They were a 4-4-2. They never play 4-4-2. They play 3-5-2. So obviously our preparations for that, but we noticed that in the warm-up they looked like they were probably going to be a 4-4-2 with not having that out-and-out wing-back who they would normally have. So maybe there was an element of that, but the information was there. We knew what we were coming up against. And just comparing the 2 games, because you brought it up, I thought I've reviewed that game, and I know I got a lot of stick for my opinion of that game. The first half, we were miles better against Rochdale than what we were here, and we were still bad against Rochdale, so I'm not justifying that. But we were so bad in that first half. I haven't seen us like that, even that comparison there. But we knew playing Rochdale, York, Southend away, Rochdale away, this was going to be our most challenging period of the season. We've got that win against York. Obviously, Rochdale's in the trophy, so it's slightly different. We've lost, 3 times, 4 times now in 21 games. So it's not bad going, is it? It was always going to be tricky at this point. And like I said, the big thing I will take is the second half fight back. And we could have easily drawn the game with Regan's chance there. I thought the referee, when I'm talking about diabolical performances by us, I'm not saying he was diabolical, but I really don't think he understands the difference between physical contests and fouls. And we want a physical battle. We embrace that, but there was times lads were being thrown down to the floor. I think Banco in the 18-yard box, Regan was pulled back. Has he got a cheat? Has he got a cheat to get a lad sent off? Because that's what I was asking the 4th official, and he didn't have an answer for me because he knows what the answer is. He's basically, Regan's going through 1v1. He gets a shot away, but really, that if he goes down, that lad's sent off the pitch and we have numerical advantage. But I don't want to promote that with my players. I expect the officials to deal with that accordingly. But again, I won't blame it on the officials because it wasn't the officials, it was our poor play in the first half. We can't come away, concede 2 goals and expect to go and win 3-2. So we've got to do better from the off in the first half. So it's obvious what we've got to do better. We're working tirelessly at understanding why that is. But you can see the performance at York, so it's hard for me to say we're getting a lot of things wrong. It's just when you have 11v11 on a pitch with 2 good teams, unfortunately one team's going to lose, and it was us today, and that's hard to swallow because we've been doing so well. Everyone's expectations are sky high, but we are playing some of the best teams around us now and away from home, so it is going to have an effect. And as long as we can stay in games like we did, because you still got a chance at 2-0. Like I said, it didn't go to 3s and 4s. We were the team who looked like we were going to go on to get at least a draw out of the game. But unfortunately, as is football, it doesn't always go your way and you don't always get what you deserve. So I know I got lambasted for saying that the other week. We deserved a draw there today and we didn't get it.
Regan Linney's had an interesting second half, to say the least. He scored a great goal, missed a chance, but also it looks as if one of the Southend players thought he'd done something to him, and there was a little bit of controversy, and the Southend fans were on his back. In situations like that, do you just have to let Regan try and manage the situation, or were you concerned that a card might be coming for him?
Well, why are they doing that? That's the question, because they want me to either sub him off or they want him to get sent off. So I've got the best player in the division, in my opinion, in the front ranks. When I say the best player, as a forward, he's also hit the crossbar in the first half. I can't remember if the keeper gets something on it, but when we were so bad, he still gives us that little ray of light that we can get something, because he's that outstanding. And yeah, that's what their fans are trying to do. That's what I think it was Gus Scott Morris. If I watch it back and Regan's done anything untoward, then I'll take issue with Regan. But I'm sure he's probably trying to get him sent off. So I think Gus Scott Morris is a very good player. I'll be disappointed if that's the case. But I'll be really disappointed if Regan's done something that he shouldn't do as well. So we promote fair play. If there's anything gone untoward, then I'll deal with that internally.
We mentioned on Tuesday the bonus of having Isaac Marriott back, and I thought one of the big bonuses of the second half was George Wilson, who I thought was absolutely brilliant when he came on. Fantastic,
and that's what I mean. We're getting lads coming back now, so this feels very similar to this point last season, where I think we lost 7 without a win or something like that, or 5 on the bounce without a win. We're obviously not going through that, and we're playing harder teams at this point than what we were last season, but the positive is we've got lads coming back. So you could see with Isaac, where you're pointing out George, Isaac wasn't at his very best today because he's finding his feet in a really tough game. And when we're saying he's not at his very best, that was on the ball. Off the ball, he works his socks off. And George has come on and he's showing what Isaac probably showed the game before. So when we can get them up and running, hopefully they're coming in at the right time of the season. If we can get Charlie back as well, and James is not far away, we'll be finishing the season really strong. But it's so frustrating. I feel everybody's frustration. I feel everyone's disappointment. But the bit I've got to do as a football manager is see beyond the result, which some people find really difficult to do. I've got to analyse the performance. I've got to see where the flaws are and what needs to be changed. And me and Soares, I'd like to think we're good at that, or we wouldn't have lasted in a job as long as we have. So trust us. I always ask that. And I'm eternally grateful for the support that our fans give us, travelling all that way, backing us, clapping, waiting at the end. They didn't just steam off as well, which I know fans can have a tendency to do. Not our fans. They wait for us, they appreciate us, and we appreciate them. So I can only say thank you on that note.
Tuesday nights, the challenges keep on coming, and it's back to the Crown Oil Arena. An unusual situation to play a team twice in such quick time at the same venue. Does the fact that we had that game last week, does that give us extra motivation? Does that give us extra? Does it make you sort of think about the game differently? Is it an unusual situation in that way?
No, I'm delighted we've got it. It couldn't have come at a better time for us, because we know we're going to have to be on our mettle. We've got something to fight for, because our fans let us know in no uncertain terms what they thought of the team, what they thought of me after that result. So it certainly keeps the fire in my belly to go and put things right. And as much as I sound like I'm disappointed by the comments, that's because I'm fiercely protective of my players and this football club. I'm so proud to be the manager of this football club, and when people say derogatory comments about my team or our team and our football club, and especially when it's internally from our fans, it hurts tenfold. But it's also inspiring, because they expect us to go to Rochdale and win, an ex-league team. They expect us to go to York and win now, top of the league or second. They expect us to come to Southend, where it's perennially difficult, and expect us to win. So I don't want that expectation to change. But as I said, I have to see beyond the result. I have to see the performance, analyse it, make good decisions, and hopefully we can continue to do that. And if we do drop out the playoffs at any point, I know we'll bounce back, because everyone wrote us off after Dagenham and Redbridge last year, and we were firmly in there come the end. So believe in us, and hopefully if you can continue on the journey, you'll get your just rewards at the end.
Thanks, Phil. Thank you.